Alright, here we go. Hey guys, welcome back to baby training. We'll see how this one goes out in the sun here. Woo, getting some vitamin D. A lot of parents coming in. Hey, there's a little woolly bear. In a lot of pain. Baby training is all about the squat, right? The squat is so important. There's a lot of other positions, but the squat is ever so important. So all these videos have given you some ideas. Today we're just going to work on our squats. Add a new little thought for you. This is something I got from certification when I was doing foundation training. Dr. Goodman talks about it a lot. Is lifting the toes, pressing the balls of the feet into the ground. So you might not be able to see this too well in the grass, and especially in my left foot, it's something that I really needed to work on, and I kind of slacked off on for a while. I actually started getting some burning sciatic pain in my feet, and as soon as I noticed, as soon as I lift my toes, activates this hip flexor, the psoas, and the adductors, helps pull the hip into the socket, helps open up our hip to allow for the good hinge, which is important for the squat. And just doing that for a day, I noticed, just lifting my toes when I was working on patients, sciatic pain went away. So knees over toes, guys, talks a lot about that tibialis, the tibialis anterior, which is this muscle, the shin muscle, which helps some of that motion, right? So it's not just that, but it's also getting the hip. So we're lifting the toes, press the balls of the feet down. We're going to keep those toes in the air the whole time. Same idea in the socket. If we're just kind of lazy with the arms, you get my shoulders raised. I'm active with my fingertips. That sometimes helps that shoulder stay low so I can reach, squat the baby down, come back up. I'm not saying you should do this all the time, but we're just training right now because obviously you're going to need your hands. So reach as far as we can, squat, toes stay up in the air. And I'll even stay down here when I'm doing stuff. Sometimes I'm putting dishes away to squat down. You're holding the baby, or maybe you got to carry her like this. I can't bend over because the baby's going to fall out, but I can squat. Still trying to keep those toes up in the air. If you need to, you can grab your toes, pull those up. We're losing our little blankie. We're losing our blankie. It's warm out here. So let's go through 10 of those. I'm change my direction here for you. It's a big old worm. Everything's coming out. They don't know the snow's coming back. Lift the toes. Press everything in. I don't care where your feet are. If you need to be wide, everyone's got different hips. We've got retroverted, anteverted. Work with it. See what you got. Toes up. Spread the fingers. Let's reach our hips back, down into that squat. Hands are just a little counterbalance. We'll come back up. Big breath in. We're filling up that low back. That's another reason the back hurts is A, we didn't set the hips into motion. B, we're just initially bending. So a lot of people think this is a good squat. They're like, I'm squatting, doc, and I'm seeing them do this, right? Heels are up in the air, all the weight's in the toes, their back's bent, the butt's tucked, pressure's in the knees, pushing out of here is, oh, squatting hurts. You're gonna stop squatting if you do it that way because it's gonna break you. This is a hip-driven squat. Hips start the motion, we reach away, hands are reaching away from your hips, spreading the fingers, spreading the toes, squat, 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 squat. Now I stop here when I'm practicing. In real life, I will do what's called the butt week, and that's okay if you got a good stable back. If you got a lot of pain, I want you to avoid this. A lot of people initially butt wink. And I say it's okay at the very end. You can squat, and then as I get down, you can see my pelvis kind of drops in there. Now here I'm more resting on the joints. It's still good working that hip mobility, but this can bother your low back if you already have a back problem, right? So you can see how my butt's tucked versus me kind of just pressing out. Almost fell backwards there. Soggy ground. Good for the stability. Work on, that's why I'm out in the grass, work on some uneven surface here. That's good. We're always on flat, hard surfaces. It's good to actually work on something you have to grip. And when I first started doing foundation training, I would grip with my toes. I was gripping, I was like trying to activate my arches. And part of that is from working soccer cleats a lot, jamming the feet in, right? We're trying to spread, open everything up. So I got a lot of work to do there to get those toes to open up. It's okay if they don't really spread that much. You're just lifting, you'll feel that tibialis anterior muscle activate, reaching those hips back. Maybe you're just working on that for right now. Reaching back. Once you get that better motion, that stability in the spine, we can press, squat. I can see I don't tuck here, or maybe I do a little bit, but I'm keeping in the hips. I'm not dropping down too much just yet, especially when we're practicing. Because a lot of us are starting that butt wink right away. At the bottom, it's okay. Even if you're lifting heavy, that's okay, as long as you don't have any pain. Starts causing you pain, stop. That's what I tell a lot of people when they're lifting. Maybe you got perfect form up top, front squat, back squat, whatever they're doing. You know, let's say they're doing a front squat, they're looking really good, and then they just kind of collapse. You know, a lot of times that bar keeps you upright, doesn't allow you to drop forward. So I'll give front squat to people who do a lot of back squat, because back squat you can get away with hanging out here in the butt wink. No, as soon as you shift that bar forward, or even a zombie squat, which is kind of similar to what we're doing here. We're reaching the arms out like a zombie, forced to keep that barbell on the shoulders. That way you can't drop forward. Those lats have to consistently lift. And that way you'll see a much better, straighter spine, posture-wise. If you go too deep, that's when it's a problem. You're gonna drop the barbell. So have some significant weight on there. Sometimes weight is the trainer. Baby's not enough, right? Maybe a bigger baby, 17-year-old baby. Put him on your arms. Should be feeling pretty good there with the hips. And we can do the same thing, same idea. We're doing a lunge. What is a lunge? It's really just it's a one-legged squat. Lots of different variations, but if we're automatically dumping into the toes, dumping into the knee, hips not starting the motion. Same thing with the spine. That's gonna kind of cause the tuck. All right, tuck the butt. Felt the pressure in the knee versus me kind of reaching away. Hip in hand, reach away. Pressure's not in the knee anymore. Where is it? Right here in the hip. Then my hip is gonna lift me off the ground. All right, whether it's forward or backwards, we can keep that hip kind of in control. Let the hip work. I start a lot of people out with a reverse lunge. It's a little bit easier to get that hip to do the work. And then here is nice. I'm actually light on that bottom knee. Hips doing all the work. Gonna add that same thing for that front toe. Keep the toes up all throughout that motion. Let's do 10 reaches. Whatever arm, maybe you're holding the baby, just reach one arm out. Maybe same side. It's okay if it's opposite. And then we're pulling up forward. One of the main exercises I've been giving a lot of people now is getting up and out of a chair, because everyone's like, I can't, you know, I have no time. I have no time for anything. You have time to sit down and sit back up. So I have the chair behind them, which is automatically thinks they have to reach back, right? Oh, I gotta find that chair behind me. So I have to pull my hips back, and then I squat to bring my butt down to the chair. Same thing when we're coming off. Maybe you reach your hands, you load the hips, pulling yourself up off that chair. Got an invisible chair here. So most people when they squat, they're like, oh, I'm squatting. I'm using my legs, right? Well, what do you see? They dump all the weight into the toes. So just by lifting the toes, balls of the feet. Isaiah, show them the balls of your feet. Isaiah's got good feet. Show him your foot. Isaiah's got great feet here. Right here, he's got spread toes. See, we naturally start with some spread toes. Balls of the feet right here. Pushing that big toe down, little big ball of the toe down, big ball, little toe down. This is your transverse arch. Meant to grip side to side. Works with the medial arch, lateral arch, creates a little triangle tripod foot to grip. Good job. Your foot cold? Thank you. Because you don't have broken feet like Dad, right? Dad needs to get his feet. He starts with the right hardware, right? We all lose it along the way. He's going to be squatting like a champ, better than Dad can soon. So yeah, when we lift the toes, balls of the feet down, just like we showed on Isaiah's foot, you can't dump into those toes anymore. You can't dump into the knees. You can't immediately do the butt wink. So we're keeping those toes up, reaching back, keeping those toes in the air, hanging out down here. Big breath. Really spread the fingers. You should feel that I say compress in the socket. That's what it feels like to me, is the shoulders compress in the socket. Other ways they protract, they reach. You see that what it does to my shoulders and my head when I reach like that. That disconnects. Maybe it works the feet really good, but it disconnects the spine, you see? Versus me connecting that length to the spine. Reach, tall, long neck. Really powerful in the hips. Reach the hands maybe to help you drive up. You'll notice that's really hard getting up and out of a chair if you haven't done that before. All right. I don't know if we did the other 10 on this other leg. I'm going to warm that up. I'm just going to add that. We'll start with our little bit of a woodpecker stance here. Toes up in the air on the front foot. Other thing I used to do is I really used to press into my toes on the back foot too. Pull that heel down. This is our class on Sunday. All woodpeckers. People hated it. Getting that heel almost to the ground. Because it's so repetitive, because I'm trying to teach. So you'll use. So there's a lot of concepts working. So if I'm here, I'm all on the toes, we're zipping it back. The toes lift in the front. Almost like I'm pulling the grass towards me. Heels just hovering. It's feeling the blades of the grass, but it's not touching. Then we can almost pull that left hip back. We're loading that hip, just that tiny bit of hip hinge rotates that hip slightly internally, and we put our weight over top of it. So I can reach again, just until you feel that back foot kind of almost lift, like you're doing like a single leg RDL, except we're just going straight down with it. Reach again, load the hip, maybe get your foot out of the way there. Little hinge until you just feel that pull you back up. Into the woodpecker. Down. Reach. Up. And maybe that's too hard on the knee, so what you can do is just, you're here, and maybe you're just dropping just a little bit, up and down. Keep those toes in the air. Even that little bend, that's burning that hip. Switch it up. Front toes in the air. Back balls of the toe down. Just gonna reach. Hip away from hand. Spread the fingers. Hinge just a little. Pull that hip behind you. Same seat analogy. You're reaching the hip for that chair. Then just drop it. Let's just do a couple little burners here. Gonna feel hard on one side over the other. This one's hard for me. I feel it in the ankle. Those toes keep wanting to drop in the front. I keep wanting to dig into those toes. Don't let them. We talked a little bit about that neuro ball I had before. Your toes are really dropping. You can put that just under the toes, just so they lift a little bit. Just till you got the strength to do it on your own. Get that Tibialis Anterior to work for you. Falling asleep on me? All right, I think Isaiah's had enough of the outdoors. I've been blocking you from the sun anyways. I got a little workout, re-educated my body on how to move. And now, pick up my socks with a squat. You didn't get to see it, but just imagine the most beautiful squat you've ever seen in your life. That's just what happened. So hopefully that helped, guys.